I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to speak at the IDEA Festival 2009. I had the unfortunate situation of not being able to be here last year, but I actually think this year is even better because I've had a whole year to psych myself in order to be able to speak to you. I'm more glad to have been part of the Currystone design process, even before the award, because it is quite interesting to find that you take on a project, a very small project in the Cape Flats, as it is called, in South Africa, Cape Town, and you do your work because you believe in the challenge that you've been given and in trying to find a solution to it. And unbeknown to you, you get a phone call from a gentleman called David Money from the United States of America, and telling you that you have been nominated for an award from the United States. And I say, but who are you? and how do you know my name? And how do you know what we're doing? And he says, well, actually this is a new prize. It has never been given to anybody. So I say, okay, so I'm the first one to get it. He says, yes. And so the story starts, where I realized that a project that we were doing as an architectural firm, well, a small one in my opinion, but I think the 10 by 10 project we're doing has proven that even if you do small things, you do actually get great recognition. To get municipal approval for the house, and which was able to be within the budget of around $7,000, which had been given as a budget for us. And it was quite amazing for Design Indaba to come to us and say, well, guys, you're the only guys out there. We've promised to the families we're going to give them 10 houses. So your house is completed now, do the rest. And we had to rearrange, obviously, our whole production system so that we could be able to produce 10 houses when actually our whole thought process and everything was to do one house. So that's how it started then, that we started developing a system that would enable us to deal with the construction of the 10 houses that were to be the rest of the houses. And now I'm just going to go through the finished product, because the houses have been completed and we've been part of the process right through to the end, where I've had a team of 2 architects who are looking after the construction, making sure that the needs of the community, the construction methods of the builder are in terms of our design intentions. And now you have a community there of buildings that are very different from the environment in which they are actually standing. And here we've used architecture as a way of empowering a community that has never had a house before, but also using it in what we believe is a creative way. What you see as a balcony would be regarded under normal circumstances when you build for low-cost people, for lower-income earners, as a luxury. But for us, the balcony was a space we created, on the one hand, to allow the family to have some play space outside of this very small house, which was 54 square meters. But at the same time, it is a structure that would enable them to extend the house and create a third room for themselves, because with the budget we had, we couldn't provide that for them. And this is just images of the buildings as they now have been completed, and we take pride in what we have achieved. And in the last 5 minutes that I actually would like to speak a little bit about the significance of the Currystone Design Prize for us, and what it has meant for the practice. As you are aware, and as I have shown you, we have been doing work at different scales. And this was the smallest project we've ever had, but it has taken the most time of any designer. And I actually don't think we could ever be paid for the input that we have made. But in reality, it has given our young designers who have been working with us in the firm another perspective about the role of architecture and the role of social responsibility in architecture, because we did this as a pro bono project. We were not to be receiving any fees for it. But the visibility that the Curry Stone Design Prize has given us as a firm is unparalleled. It's not the first award we receive. For the South African Embassy, we got an award. But if I tell you right now that ever since we got the design award, every month or every so often, I get requests from magazines from all over the world. We have been covered, and the project has been reported on in the Domus Italy magazine, the American Record, Space magazine in South Korea, magazines in Italy, in Germany, in Spain, in France, and in Japan. People want to know about our approach. And in the week before we came to the United States, I was addressing a discussion where our Minister of Human Settlements was giving a keynote address, and I was presenting the work that we've been doing on the 10 by 10 project. And the discussion, as South Africa is looking at a new paradigm, is that the 10 by 10 house that we did is actually forming part of the body of knowledge that is there, that will be considered as we look at different ways of building, especially from a sustainable building point of view. And I think one of the biggest things that, for me, was almost like a challenge and a social responsibility was to actually take students from our university in Cape Town to the 10 by 10 site. On a discussion I had had with David when we were hosting him for a dinner with the head of the architecture chair. And he came to me and said, we'd like to take our students there. So the idea now of bringing young students who have never been to a township, some of them, and some of them have never been exposed to a different approach using different materials, for me is one of the biggest contributions I think I've been able to make. And in order for us to complete the 10 by 10 project at a time when obviously the idea to build 10 houses had never crossed our minds, some of the funds that we got from the design prize, the Curry Stone Design Prize, we're able to invest into making sure that some of the ideas we had that could make this contribution actually a reality were invested in making sure that the project could be completed. At this point, I'd like to say thank you very much, and we're honored to be in Louisville.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Really well done. Ladies and gentlemen, Luanda Mpawa, the 2008 Curry Stone Design Prize winner.